Hey, it's Don Coscarelli, filmmaker. I just wrote a book. Check it out. It's called Fiction Tales from the World of Phantasm. And it can teach you all the things that you never knew about the Phantasm film series. A lot of interesting stuff. Horror, violence, not much sex. Check it out. Now available on Amazon, paperback, and Kindle.
This is The Gala Show. I'm your reporter on the beat, Gala Avery. On this episode, you may know my guest as a participant of I'm going to start that over. On this episode, you may know my guest as a participant of Robert Rodriguez's Rebel Without a Crew TV series, the director of the film Millennium Bugs, or from his newest movie, The Unexpecteds, which, by the time this airs, will have premiered at the Los Angeles Latino International Film Festival. But here on The Gala Show, I know him as one of the OG supporters of the Video Archives podcast, Alejandro Montoya Marin. Hey, Alejandro.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so glad that we're finally meeting because, as I told you before we sat down, I felt like I already knew you. We've talked so much on Instagram. You're one of the original supporters of the podcast. You're also I feel like one of the people that, I don't know if I told you this, but I felt really supported by you during the recording of the podcast, just from your positivity towards the show. And so I always really appreciated all of your messages. And so it's kind of full circle coming together and finally meeting and sitting down and having this chat. So
thank you for making good art.
Thank you for watching and listening. I really appreciate it. So before we bring up the topic for today, I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite English language film? And what is your favorite Spanish language film?
That's a tough one.
I know. I was just going to ask you what your favorite movie was, but then I thought I would make it even harder on you.
Oh my God. I mean, I think Spanish, I'm going to sound cliche, but Amores Perros.
Okay.
Yeah, seeing that movie it just
It just blew your mind. When did you see it?
Well, I have a funny story. Okay. I bumped into Gael Garcia at a nightclub, and my cousin wanted to get his autograph, and I was a little tipsy. I had just turned 18, and that's the legal age in Mexico to drink. So I went up to the VIP area, and I was just like, hey, man, my cousin's a big fan of yours, and you're in this new movie, and I wanted to see if I could get an autograph. And he was like, he had one girl in one hand, in one arm, and another girl in the other one, and he looked at me, and he was just like, nah. Oh, my God, am I going to blast him?
He said no?
Yeah, I get it.
Wait, when he had two girls with him?
I get it.
But wait, I don't, because I would think that'd be the coolest thing for a guy when you have two girls on, one girl on each arm, and then someone comes and asks you, I'm such a huge fan, can I have an autograph?
Someone that looks like me would probably, you know what I'm saying? So he goes, no, and I screamed at him, just because you're in one good movie, you think you're the shit? Fuck you, dude. And then I see the movie 6 months later, and I go, this is genius. Damn it.
You will always have that memory, though. But what about the English language one?
See, the thing is, I mean, I guess I'll go cliche, but it's I have to go with The Godfather.
I don't think it's cliche. I think it's one of the best movies of all time.
Just, whoa.
Okay, but The Godfather, the first one, not the second one.
Yeah, a lot of people like the second one, which is great, but I think the first one's the best. And I just remember how much it was around my family's culture. Mm-hmm. And I have uncles that are politicians and some that are, doctors or teachers. And it's just what it meant or what it was trying to say. And I guess that one.
Okay, so The Godfather and Amores Perros. Those are two good movies. This would be a great double feature. Yeah, Jenks. Yes. I know.
Very long.
Come on, New Beverly. That'd be a really fun double feature. Now, as always, my guest gets to bring their topic to the mic. Alejandro, why don't you tell us what your topic is and why you decided to choose it?
I think it was being bilingual and making sort of a mashup or bilingual two mashups of genres, I guess.
Yeah, I think we were talking about you're a bilingual filmmaker, and I think it's going to be really interesting to talk about how the two languages affect you as a filmmaker and also as just a human being. A lot of people are bilingual. I am not, but one day maybe I will be.
Yes,
day.
You're doing
Russian.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out.
Pero antes, unos comerciales.
I might be vegetarian, but that doesn't mean I can't enjoy a good spice rub. My favorite place to get them is Smoked Bros, a veteran-owned and operated business that sells premium handcrafted dry rubs, spice blends, and seasonings. Psst, guys, you can even put it on your popcorn. My favorites are Honey Badger, because he doesn't give a bleep, and jelly and peanut flavor topping, because some things just taste better together. The website even has recipes, so go check out smokedbros.com to support a veteran-owned and operated business and fill your cabinet with delicious flavor.
Estamos listos y comenzamos. Adelante.
You heard it here. We're going to be talking about growing up bilingual and the effects that it had on Alejandro, both as a man and as a filmmaker. So I have 30 minutes on the clock, and our time starts now. So were you born in Texas, right?
I was, yes.
Yeah, but did you split your time between Texas and Mexico?
Kind of depending the relationship between both countries, we had to pivot, like when there was devaluations in the 80s and in the 90s. When the stock market and all that, we would have to go back to Mexico because we couldn't afford to live in the States. But it was really cool because I got to see where my dad was from, and I lived there. I lived in Mexico, seventh grade all the way past college, and then I went to Vancouver.
Oh my God,
Canada,
you
to
really
study film.
You
Yeah.
had like the complete opposite of Canada and Mexico, I guess, or the opposites in the United States is in the middle.
Texas, Mexico, Canada.
I know, right? But so are both your parents Mexican?
Yes. My mom is from Mexico City and my dad's from Yucatan, Mérida.
From Yucatan. Okay, so you were born in Texas, went to Mexico, grew up in Mexico, and then found yourself in Canada at film school.
Yeah.
And then after film school, did you go back to Mexico or did you?
I went to New Mexico.
Oh, okay. So
you
you went to the New Mexico. Okay.
Yeah. Which surprisingly, I did a lot of telemarketing and a lot of people still think that that's part of Mexico.
Really?
It's shocking.
People think that's part of Mexico. I mean, maybe it should be. I don't know if we go back to like the
Good
California
Lord.
War
Oh, this
and
whole
stuff like that.
thing,
The
yeah.
Alta California, which I think your production company is Alta California.
Great memory.
Yeah.
My business partner, Alejandro
Yeah.
de Hoyos.
Yeah. So did you grow up speaking, which one was your first language, English or Spanish?
Spanish.
So Spanish was like the language that you spoke at home
Yeah.
from the moment you were born. It's your mother tongue. You dream in Spanish?
No, in both.
Really?
Depending on the dream. And it was really like my dad would not let us speak English in the house.
Did both your parents speak English? Because I know sometimes with people that have like either immigrant parents or parents that speak a different language, they don't want their kids to speak English in the house because then they don't know what they're saying.
That's a great, I've seen the other side where they come to the country, to the United States, and they say, well, don't speak whatever language we had.
That
We're
happened
Americans
with my
now.
dad. Yeah, with my dad, because my grandma was German, and she did not want to teach my dad any German. She's like, "We are American. We don't speak German."
Yeah.
And I tried to take German in high school, and she was like, "No." She was like,
Yeah,
"I will
there's
not
some
speak
people
with
like
you."
that.
It's like we're American, so
My dad was, you guys don't speak English here. That's at school. You speak Spanish here. And when you're a kid, you're like, oh, but you're making me be different from everyone. And then you get older and you just see how much it helped.
yeah, you're really grateful actually to it. So do you think, because I watched Monday, I watched Millennium Bugs, and I watched your new movie, The Unexpecteds, because I'm really excited to talk about The Unexpected. No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. I'm actually really excited to talk about it. But one thing I noticed is that there's kind of not that much Spanish in Monday. And then in Millennium Bugs, there's a little bit more Spanish. And then in The Unexpecteds, it's like you're kind of increasing your Spanish language throughout your 3 movies.
That's cool.
And I liked that. I liked it. And I was wondering, are you kind of more comfortable now, with your Spanish side as a filmmaker?
I think, and as a person and as a filmmaker, I think I'm more comfortable. I never really thought about it. That's really cool. See, that's why I'm a fan of your work. You do study and you see things that I didn't even see that.
Really? Because when I was watching, I was wondering, I wonder why his first language wasn't in his first film wasn't in Spanish, if it's his first language. And I was thinking maybe marketability, accessibility to audiences, etc. Or maybe there might be, I don't know, an underlying personal stigma against making a movie in Spanish. I don't know.
I think as an independent filmmaker, when I lived in Mexico, there was no film industry outside of telenovelas.
Yeah.
That you knew that if you wanted to do something, you had to go to the United States.
So when did you know that you wanted to do it?
Age 11.
Age 11?
Yeah.
So was there a movie that you saw or a thing that happened that you were like, I want to be a filmmaker?
I think it's me remembering my first trip to the movie theater. My favorite double feature, which is shit crazy, it was Cinema Paradiso and RoboCop. And it was nuts. And I was just like, what is this? This is amazing.
Wow.
And I think El Mariachi, Clerks, Reservoir,
Yeah.
all that. And I mean, Killing Zoe, dude.
Yeah.
Like all that 90s. I guess that's when I was like, wait, you can study this? Okay.
You can do this. Because if there's no industry besides telenovelas, and then you're seeing these kind of like,
And that's not what you want to do.
yeah, and you don't want to do a telenovela. You want to do, and your work, what I love also about the work that I've seen of yours is that it is like, I mean, your newest movie is a heist film. And it's a heist and a heist because they're kind of, everything is getting taken from everyone. But it's also really funny. You have a really good comedic angle through your use of sound. And I noticed it like in your first movie with Monday, like you put sound effects every now and then kind of to cue the audience. And then I noticed it also in Millennium Bugs. And it's not as much, I think, in The Unexpected, but every now and then, I think in Millennium Bugs, like when they're talking about like having a threesome or something, you put like a little, like a little moan.
There's another one in this one. It is just my editor and I going, that's funny.
It is really funny because it kind of cues you without having to see it.
Yeah.
Because you're so smart, because when you're working on this low budget, you can't cut to them having a threesome because you don't have time or money to shoot them having the threesome. And maybe you don't even want to show them having a threesome.
Yeah. I think I am just, the older I get, the more I'm just like, you know what, dude? You're not going to revolutionize cinema. Just entertain them.
It is entertaining.
And I love going to the movies.
Yeah.
Like, I never, like, proactively going, like, ugh, I just want to hate this movie. No, I want to, please, entertain me.
Whether it's like the smallest micro budget film all the way up to like $1 billion movie, you want to be entertained. That's the thing. You want to eat popcorn. You want to go on a date. You want to sit with your honey, and you want to have like a slushy and like a popcorn and sit back and laugh and kind of forget about real life.
Exactly.
That's what it is. It's the escape, and it's the great escape. But I think it's just really interesting, like your development. And it made me think, are you going to make a Spanish language film?
Dude, I really want to.
Like a full Spanish language film?
I wrote a script with Matt Walsh from The Unexpected.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's a mishmash where half of it takes place in LA and the other half is in Mexico City. And he gets amnesia, so he's forced to kind of speak Spanish. And they're secret agents that used to be... It's fun. It's a fun movie.
Do you think you're going to have like more pushback in doing a full Spanish language?
You know, I want to do both.
Yeah.
I knew young enough, and that caused problems of being like Latino and having I'm not going to have kids. And like, this is... You know, it's taken 43 years to get where we're at, that I'm just like, I don't have to, 2 years every movie. If I feel that there's a project that's cool and that I'll do it.
I admire that so much, because sometimes I feel like filmmakers put themselves in a box of like, I have to make this perfect little gemstone.
Because that's the people that we admire did.
Yeah, because that's like what our forefathers did. But really, it's like, let's just have fun. Let's just make and create. I absolutely love that. So... do you prefer to watch movies in Spanish or in English?
Both.
Both?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I watch more movies in English.
Yeah, but maybe just because there are more movies in English.
Probably.
Yeah. Do you ever get bothered with subtitles, though, on the Spanish language films? Because I'll watch a movie. Like, I have a friend from Peru, and we'll watch movies together. And sometimes they're Spanish language, but since we're watching together, we need subtitles. Or there's like little lines in Spanish. And then he'll be like, well, that's not what they're saying.
Oh, yeah. Or when people like hire... people that don't speak the language, I go, that's not, you don't say that.
Oh my God, no.
You know?
It's like, we don't say that. We don't sound like that. They don't sound like they speak Spanish. They don't sound like they speak any language.
Here's another story. I auditioned for Sicario.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They shot it in New Mexico, by the way. All the New Mexico cast and crew that worked on that, what's up? They're just so much talented people there. And I did an audition, and I auditioned for the part where we're trying to tell Josh Brolin, like, don't go through this round. And I was saying it like I can switch the inglés a español
Like
natural.
Yeah, naturally.
And they go like, well, he's a little too white. And they brought in someone who was shorter and a little bit more, darker. And then the cat couldn't even speak Spanish. And I'm just in the background going, yo, that's not, you don't say that.
It's funny. A lot of people though, like especially in music now, I've heard like the whole Spanglish thing where it's like they're rapping in both English and Spanish and they're switching different words like at any given time. And I guess that is like a product of maybe being raised by Spanish speaking people, but then like growing up in an English speaking environment or vice versa. And media. Yeah. With media, you have so much. Do you think there's more Spanish language media now? I mean, we're in Los Angeles though. I consider like LA. I don't speak Spanish and I'm not Hispanic, but I feel very close to like Hispanic people and Hispanic culture because I'm an Angelino. I grew up here.
Just like New Mexico.
Like my mom cooks Mexican food like twice a week. Like she makes beans and rice and everything. Like I feel very, very akin to the culture. And so for me, it's around all the time. But like, I guess if you're in New England, you're not going to have like them, especially in Canada. Oh my God, there's nothing up there.
And that's one of the reasons why I went to Canada, because I did research and I saw that Vancouver has like a very large Asian,
like Chinese population.
population. And I thought that was like, well, I literally said this. I said, well, 2 birds with 1 stone. I get to learn from 2 cultures. And I went there.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't afford LA.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, you were going against the family. Like what happened in Millennium Bugs?
Yeah, that's interesting because I see in Millennium Bugs and then also in The Unexpecteds, you kind of have this like father-son relationship. And like the mother is present also kind of in this issue. Like, for example, like in Millennium Bugs, the son wants to be a comedian and an actor. And so, but his dad wants him to go and do his master's program. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. And there's that moment in Millennium Bugs where he comes to him in the video store and he's like, well, how serious are you? And you think that the dad from like a white American standpoint might say, oh, you know what, son, like, how serious are you? Okay, I support you. And then he doesn't. And it's kind of gut wrenching because you look at him and I thought, wow, like, because my dad would have said, you know, I support you. And I just thought, you know what, how lucky I am to have a dad that would have said that, because there's a lot of people that have either immigrant parents or Latin parents, even Asian parents, frankly, that are very, very hard on them that don't have that. And then you see it also in The Unexpecteds. I'll go have a steak with you, Dad.
Daddy issues.
But you're pulling from, I'm guessing, your own life story when you're making these characters a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Almost everything. Jokes, little memories, improvising. Kind of, I feel that I don't know. I think in order for people to take the movie serious, because it's so indie, that we try to do as much of a stew for more people to enjoy. Yeah. So we not only do we get like action and comedy, but there's also like a sandwich in between of all the shit that parents have to do for their kids.
Yeah, that parents do have to do for their. It's true, and you do a really good job of kind of showing both angles, like of how difficult it is for a parent to sacrifice for their child, but then also how difficult it is for a child who wants to chase their dreams, who knows that their parents have sacrificed, but they're like, I have to still go for my dreams and my passion. So how did you end up with Robert Rodriguez on the TV show? Because you're in Vancouver, you're at film school.
Yeah. Oh, we drove from Vancouver to New Mexico because that's when the 2008 economic crisis happened. That we were like, well, we can't go to LA. So we went to New Mexico because it was booming. You know, it's still like it's explosive right now. But it was the IP8 in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Like IP8 in a bunch of shows, Bless You Ultima, and there was a USA show about like CIA agents.
Like New Mexico got really hot in that moment.
Hardcore. So we went there and, life happens. And then I said, you know what? It's time to either do it and just instead of, just be bitter and like, oh, everything sucks. But then you don't do anything about it. So I just started hitting short films hardcore and just trying as much as possible to create a portfolio that one day I could come to LA and not just say that I'm a filmmaker, but be like, boom, here it is.
You're actually living being a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my whole arm is about film.
Oh my God, yeah, it is. Wait, what tattoos do you have on there? I see Batman. Oh, he's gonna take the jacket off.
Oh yeah. I have my 3 films.
I love that you actually have your films tattooed on you. Oh, and I see Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction right there. Silence of the Lambs, Highlander, Blade Runner, Batman, Star Wars, and The Professional.
Wow. Are you gonna get more and more added, or is that?
Yeah.
So how do you pick which tattoos? you add to yourself? Obviously, all your movies are going to end up being on your arm, and maybe the next arm too. Who knows?
This is music.
You might do a musical.
Hey, why not? I'm trying to do different genres.
Like a Spanglish musical.
Dude, I'm actually trying to do. Well, what if someone steals it? But it's a very like Apatow-esque
No one
film
can
in
steal
Mexico.
it because it's his idea. We're here.
I'm like 60 pages in, y'all.
I love that you're doing that.
I
so
hope.
you're not like bound by genre.
No, I think. No, I love films in all genres.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could go from Blade Runner to. We were
Yeah,
just
well,
watching
what do we have on the TV right
Blown
here?
Away with
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges.
I'm in love with Jeff Bridges.
How could you not?
I know.
Look at
He's
those
on the
curls.
TV right now. I'm like looking over
can't
him
focus.
like I can't focus. It's Jeff Bridges on the TV.
I can pause this.
No, it's okay. I'll keep looking. So I actually heard from my dad though, which was really interesting because like there's a ton of independent theater chains in the United States. Like people don't know about. Like by the way, like my favorite theater to go to is Cinépolis, which is I guess a Mexican theater chain, but it's like the nice dine-in. Oh my god, it's so
The VIP tickets, you get sushi
it's
and
so
stuff.
bougie. I'm gonna go tomorrow to go see the new Mad Max movie there with a
Dude,
friend.
tell me how it is.
I will tell you how it is. But there's tons of like independent theater chains all throughout the United States, and there's this one theater chain called Galaxy, which I think is like also like New Mexico, Texas, etc. They're all over.
Okay.
But their biggest clientele are mothers and daughters, Spanish speaking. And so I think it's really interesting because we're talking about like Spanish language versus English language film, but I think that the Hispanic market might be the biggest movie going market.
I mean, you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
I've been saying this. It's like every time I have meetings, some people think that's not Mexican enough. Like I actually went to a meeting with a very big online platform that saw Millennium Bugs and said it's not Mexican.
So how do you feel when people tell you that you're not Mexican enough?
Sometimes I feel that you can't say anything because you're hard to work with.
Yeah, but like it must hurt because
of course.
you're born here, but like both your parents are Mexican from Mexico. Yeah. You lived in Mexico from like 7th grade all the way to adulthood. Mm-hmm. You probably still go back to Mexico.
I'm going there in a couple months.
Yeah, you're fluent in Spanish. You like if I saw you here I would say you're an Angelino, to be honest. Sorry, I know you're not from here.
Not yet. I really like it here. I want to stay.
But I would say you're as close as an Angelino as a transplant can be. But no, I would say like if I looked at you, like you're Mexican. So it must really hurt when people are like you're not Mexican enough, and they probably also tell you that you're not white enough. Or I would never think that someone would say you're not American enough. I don't think people would say that to you, but they might say you're not white enough.
Eva Longoria said the same thing. It's in pitches, when you pitch a project, they go, well, that's not, it's not Mexican enough, or the reverse. So it's kind of, you go to Mexico and all your friends, stop talking English. What do you think you are, gringo? What?
Yeah.
And then you come over here and you say something in Spanish like, oh, calm down, most interesting man. So I go, God damn it.
Like where
You
do you fit in then?
Just, I guess, snapping back.
Yeah.
And then just like, let's keep going and come on, get over it. Just like me for who I am.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, in the end, we are all just people. But I can imagine, like, when people say, oh, you're not Mexican enough, like, what do they mean by that? Like, what do they have in their head of, like, what is Mexican? Or, like, what is white? Or what is Asian? Like, when they say you are not X enough. And I think a lot of people, mostly mixed race children, I find that I've talked to, have this issue. But it's interesting hearing it from, like, a bilingual standpoint, because it's like, you do have both cultures within you.
And I think that's like I won't say superpower, but I feel like
it's a superpower.
But you know what I mean? Like, I because people be like, "Oh, calm down, dude." I feel that it's cooler because you can appeal to both audiences.
Not only that, but I think you're also an authority on both audiences because you've lived both.
Yeah.
Like you truly know both audiences because you are both.
Yeah, and I think what they both need right now is a lot of laughing and comedy.
Yeah, I think we're lacking a little bit of comedy in. I think indie film is bringing back comedy, which I'm really thankful for.
I just saw, what was that Kristen Stewart bodybuilder movie?
Is it funny?
It's good. No, it's not funny. It's funny because that it wasn't bigger. Because that movie's great. What was it? Love Bullets
I can't remember.
Bleeding?
Yeah, like I think like Love Bullets Bleed. I think that's what
Really
it's called.
good.
I know what it is, but
It went really different than
Well,
I said. What does that have to do? But it's indie film, and it's like,
yeah,
I
funny.
agree.
I saw Fall Guy recently, And I didn't think I was going to like Fall Guy. I was like, whatever. And then I went on a date and I was like, this is the perfect date. We were supposed to go see Civil War. And then he was like, this is going to harsh the vibe. And I was like, he's like, let's go see Fall Guy instead. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever. And we saw Fall Guy. It was hilarious. And it was so fun going in. It doesn't take itself too seriously. You just have a good laugh. And I would not say that's an indie film by any means whatsoever, obviously. I mean, it's based on previous IP, has 2 stars in it, etc.
130 million budget.
It's like the budget, like I can't even fathom how many dollars that is. It's like not comprehensible to me.
It's a lot of fun.
It was so much fun though, but I feel like we're kind of like maybe the early 2000s comedy is like a good thing to say that we've kind of lost. Like that kind of space of like Step Brothers or like even like Superbad. These movies I'm not even huge fans of, to be honest.
I love those. I love Superbad.
Like I feel
Bridesmaids,
like
man.
We've kind of forgotten how to laugh at ourselves.
We take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
I love that. Is this your man? No. Oh, I apologize.
You can't take yourself too seriously, and when you go into a movie you're supposed to laugh. And I feel like most of the maybe major cinema, or I don't even know if I want to use the word cinema, maybe major movies and big blockbusters right now are kind of a reflection on society, that we're a little bit bleak and we're a little bit nihilistic, and the internet has made us kind of a little bit grumpy, but I'm hoping that movies come back and are funny and make me laugh and smile and cry and feel something good and happy inside.
Oh, dude, you're nailing it. Like my mom once, because it's really weird when you want to write and direct. Because I've done other stuff that I didn't write, and I want to try to do like a feature that I don't write. But she was like, maybe you shouldn't do comedies anymore. They're not hitting.
Really?
Which is one of the things that I love about Millennium Bugs is that he knows he's not good. He's not good enough. Like his jokes are
Yeah.
but he still goes.
But the unexpected is funny.
Oh, I hope, man.
I'm gonna be honest. I laughed at it. I had a fun time.
Thank you.
Also, like on the live stream, the company name is called what is it? CON.
So dumb.
It's so great though, because like you're looking and you find these like little Easter eggs that you planted in there. And I don't want to give anything away because this movie is premiering by the time that this has come out and has been released. It will have premiered. But it is premiering, and so I don't want to give any spoilers away for the movie, but the movie's really good.
I'm so glad. You see so many movies, and you dissect movies so well, and now, as we were talking about the schools and what you guys studied, I go, holy crap, I hope that this doesn't seem so lowbrow.
No, it's the thing is about it, and I hope that everyone listening gets a chance to go see The Unexpecteds, whether it's like in theaters, hopefully, I'm fingers crossed, knock on wood on my forehead, or even streaming, or just like any way that someone can see it. I hope they do, because it was so lighthearted. It's so fun. It's like I want to use the word romp. Like they're just having a good time, and it's like this unlikely cast of characters that gets thrown into a situation. And also like your character of, what is his name? Something Mike?
Metal
Mike. So funny. Hit the nail on the head. I know guys like that. Unfortunately, I know men like that.
I'm sorry. I speak for all men, and I apologize for that, because that is a caricature.
Well, you got it pretty darn right. But and in the end, it's very like rewarding, like what happens, like everything to the characters, and like you actually feel like it's a full-fledged idea. And so I know it's indie, and I know it was probably a hard shoot. Like, how long did you have to shoot that?
14 days.
So it's a 14-day shoot, probably low budget, but not as low as Millennium Bugs.
No, I'll tell you after the
thing. We're gonna keep that lock and key.
Super secret. You hear me, Netflix?
But I know that it was probably a really fun set and probably a really hard shoot, because it's 14 days and you accomplished a lot in 14 days. You have action, you have character, you have development, you have all of these moving parts.
I was, when we were talking about anxiety, this was the most calm I have ever been on set.
Really?
Because Millennium Bugs, it was terrible. I discovered panic attacks. I didn't know what those were. And I started taking medication, but they would make me subdued. Mm-hmm. I felt it immediately. And I said, So I tried with smoking and with this one, there was a budget that I could actually hire all the positions and I wasn't just panicking on making sure everything was being done.
Because you, as a director, you could delegate. Mm-hmm. You had the ability to do it.
And I had a pro team and a pro AD and a pro producer. My cast, dude, like I learned the ugly way of distribution with Millennium Bugs because no one paid attention to us because we had no names. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't even give us a time of day. And then with this one, I'm super glad. That sounds redundant. Not redundant, but super glad. But I'm just glad that I was able to.
You're happy about it. You're glad. You can't be super glad. We're allowed to be super glad in this lifetime. We're super glad.
I played Street Fighter. Super meant something.
Yeah, not super bad, but super glad.
Or super bad, like in the '80s. Bad is cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
But no, the cast was amazing. I got to work with people that I admired, and not only that, like I didn't have to. I wrote that role for this person, for this girl, for this guy. That was fun.
Yeah, you had them in mind, and so you were able to. And I felt like that actually came through without knowing that. I feel like they really embodied their characters, and I feel like they really fit into their roles. And so it was just a super fun time.
It was great. I'm spoiled, and I just go, man, I just hope it's all uphill because that's a very fond memory.
So did you direct in Spanish or in English? Because I know you had Spanish language actors
in English, but then I catch myself that when I know that that they're Spanish speakers, I can switch and start talking in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm funnier in Spanish just because I'm more comfortable. Mm-hmm. Whereas sometimes when I speak in English, I'm like halting myself. Like, is that the right word? No, hang on.
Yeah. Okay, so I was curious though because in Millennium Bugs, the main actor was Spanish speaking, but then in The Unexpecteds, you have his wife be the Spanish speaking one. Did you want to have her be the Spanish speaking one, or did you just kind of cast an actress that you were like, oh, she actually speaks Spanish?
She's Venezuelan and Argentinian, and we just it'd be really funny. The only time she lets out the Spanish, better let go.
you better know when she speaks Spanish, she means business.
Yeah, all right.
I love that. It's so interesting. So what's next?
Oh man, selling this movie and hopefully another feature film that would be out of my comfort zone, I guess, because it would be like a romance time travel comedy.
Oh, okay. Because so I know in Monday there's romance, but it's kind of like he and his girlfriend break up because she's sucks and she's cheating on him with the drug lord, of course. And you have this kind of cartel thing that kind of goes throughout, which I guess is very Mexican, I guess. If
exactly.
We're gonna be honest about it.
Exactly.
And then in Millennium Bugs, it's again, he's a guy and he has an ex-girlfriend who's gone off with another man. But then here in The Unexpecteds, you have a husband who gets divorced or not separated.
They're in the process
of. And so it's interesting. It's you have this peril, but you don't really have strong romance. You have issued relationships. So I'm going to be excited to see you do something with romance.
That's a really good point because someone told me after my third short film, which is called Lo-Fi, I wanted to make that into a feature film, and I guess it just became Fleabag. That I'm just it's too similar to Fleabag now. I'm not going to do it. But I remember that short film was our most successful. That's the one we took here.
Oh, to Cannes, yeah.
And I remember one guy going, "Well, I guess you're going to be you're going to be known as the rom-com guy." And I said, No, I don't want to.
You didn't want to be known as a rom-com guy.
Just that.
Because you just wanted to be known as a guy.
A filmmaker.
A filmmaker. You didn't want to be put into a box. Again, as we said, it's you don't want to be put into a box oh, I have to make this movie or this movie or this movie, because it's kind of what the predecessors did.
Yeah.
You want to just be known as, I can do any genre. I can do anything. I can speak any language.
Well, hang on.
I'm not going to be speaking Swahili on my podcast.
I won't know.
Not yet.
I love cyberpunk. I would love to do sci-fi, but I don't think I'm smart enough yet. And I feel time gives you perspectives that will make you challenge, or not challenge, but will challenge you to see different genres in a different way. But I want to do a sci-fi. I want to do horror.
Yeah.
I want to do horror because it's so hard. And I don't know, because at the end of the day, we're doing movies for audiences. So we should keep them guessing and have them enjoy it.
You just want to have fun movies. I think that's genre. Who cares about the genre? Just have it be fun.
Yeah, have them go, you know what? That was worth $20. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus, come on, man. Tickets are expensive.
Oh my God, they are. It's crazy. I mean, if you go on Tuesdays, you get a deal, but who can go on a Tuesday? I'm busy.
We got stuff to
I
do.
have work.
Yeah, I have a life.
I can't be in the theater all the time.
I wish, though.
I know. So what's the last great movie you saw in theaters?
Dune 2.
You love Dune 2.
Yeah, that was great.
I like the knife fight.
That sound. When it started, I was like, whoa. No, all that, them running through the mountains, and then they start lifting, and the music just goes, whoa.
So I went to go see that without seeing the first one.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You were like, well, what is this shit?
I was like, what am I doing here? Who am I? What's going on? I mean, I had seen the David Lynch Dune. I had read the book.
Which I really liked, but it's different. And I mean, Denis Villeneuve, is that how you pronounce
Yeah,
this?
Villeneuve, yeah.
God damn, he's just, my favorite still Prisoners. And
Oh God, Prisoners is
damn.
okay. So I have nightmares about Paul Dano. Like my friends will send me pictures of Paul Dano
Rightfully
to scare
so.
me in the middle of the night. I had a nightmare about, like, not about him, but that he was in, and ever since then it just has terrified me to see Paul Dano. But Prisoners, so underrated, so good. I think it's definitely his best movie.
and then Blade Runner for me.
Yeah.
But I recommended Prisoners to so many filmmakers, so many family, non-filmmakers is what I meant. Oh,
You recommended Prisoners to them?
go watch Prisoners, man. like he needs more money, but yes, go watch Prisoners. It's dope.
So that is all the time that we had for today. Wow, it really flew by.
That was fun.
That was fun. Alejandro, is there any final thought that you'd like to share with the audience?
Don't stop making your podcasts. They're dope, and we
thank
enjoyed
you.
them. Thank you for being so nice. And yeah, come check out The Unexpected or follow me on social media, and hopefully one day you get to see one of my movies in the theater.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, it was really good. And again, I will say The Unexpected is great. I know it's sold out, and I know by the time that this podcast comes out that it will have already premiered. But I hope there are more screenings around Los Angeles, and I champion it. So
Thank you.
I'm really excited. Thank you to my guest, Alejandro Montoya Marin, for coming on to the show. If you'd like to keep up with Alejandro, you can do so on Instagram at Alejandro Montoya Marin or on his website, alejandromontoyafilm.com. I'm Gala Avery, and this has been The Gala Show. The Gala Show is brought to you by Insertomatic. This episode was executive produced by Roger Avery and produced by Gala Avery. Music composed by Andy Milburn. As always, I'm your host, Gala Avery. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved. Despite me sharing the same last name with this charity, I don't have any affiliation with it, besides the fact the issue is very near and dear to my heart. Did you know that in the United States, 2.7 million children currently have a parent in prison, and it's estimated that 10 million children have experienced parental incarceration at some point in their lives? I was one of these kids, and as an adult, I am really grateful to be able to give back to Project Avery. Their mission is to build leadership from within by supporting community through programs such as mentoring and outdoor education, and also to remove the stigma surrounding having a parent that's incarcerated. You don't have to feel alone. If you know a kid who could use these resources or would like to donate money or time to the charity, please go to Project Avery, that's AVARY.org, to check out what this amazing charity is all about. Again, that's projectavery.org. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart.